Coming up next on the PodWheels Network, you'll hear the Highway to Hope, the official podcast of the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. This edition of the Highway to Hope will feature an interview with Patty DelMonico, the Senior Manager of Commercial Marketing for TravelCenters of America. Patty will be discussing a new fundraising campaign that TravelCenters of America has launched to further support the mission of SCF. Here's a preview.
With COVID out there, we wanted to limit the physical transactions at the pay points. We just kind of wanted to limit that. Also, with the change shortage out in the country, we figured this would be a good time to just make this program a roundup program. It's super simple. Customers shopping at the travel stores will have the option to round up their order to the nearest dollar. We're also doing this at our quick-serve restaurants and our full-serve restaurants. And 100% of the donated amount will go to St. Christopher Fund. Again, this point-of-sale campaign is just an easy way for the drivers, fellow drivers, customers, and our employees to help St. Christopher Fund.
Welcome back to the Highway to Hope, the official podcast of the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. Thanks for connecting with us again here on the PodWheels Network. The SCF Highway to Hope podcast is dedicated to placing a spotlight on the important work being done every week of the year by the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. As we mentioned at the top of the podcast, we'll be bringing you our interview with Patty DelMonico, discussing a new fundraising initiative to support SCF that TravelCenters of America launched in mid-September at store locations across the country. Patty is the Senior Manager of Commercial Marketing for TravelCenters of America, and she also serves as a member on the all-volunteer Board of Directors for the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. As you'll hear during the podcast, Patty shares how the relationship between TravelCenters of America and SCF has grown over the years. You'll also hear about Patty's deep appreciation for professional drivers and the vital role that drivers play in supporting the work of SCF. Patty will be chatting with SCF Director of Philanthropy and Development, Shannon Currier, who serves as your host for the Highway to Hope. Shannon is joined on this podcast once again by Greg Thompson, the executive producer of the PodWheels Network. As you'll hear, Patty and Shannon connected to the PodWheels Network studios through Zoom audio. Following the interview with Patty, Shannon shares some news updates with Greg on what's happening at SCF, as well as what's ahead for SCF as we enter the final months of 2020. Now let's hand it off to Shannon Currier and Greg Thompson as we get rolling on this edition of the SCF Highway to Hope podcast.
Hello again, everybody. Greg Thompson from the PodWheels Network, back with you on the SCF Highway to Hope podcast, joined once again by SCF Highway to Hope podcast host, Shannon Currier. And Shannon, it's great to be back with you on the podcast. We are recording it at the end of Driver Appreciation Week of 2020. And 2020 has been an incredible year to appreciate exactly what professional drivers mean to this country.
Yes, and here at St. Christopher Fund, we don't just celebrate Truck Driver Appreciation Week. We celebrate Truck Driver Appreciation Month, but we celebrate truck drivers all year round. And we're excited this week to talk to Patty DelMonico with TravelCenters of America. She is the Senior Manager of Commercial Marketing at TravelCenters of America, and we've got an awesome new program to share with you all. Patty's going to share that with us, so we're looking forward to talking to her.
As our listeners will hear, it was a great conversation with Patty. The relationship between SCF and TravelCenters of America goes way back. It was really interesting to hear you guys talk a little bit about the history.
Yes, we do. We've been working with TravelCenters of America for the last 10 years. They have been instrumental in raising support for St. Christopher Fund to support the men and women on the road that need us. You'll hear this talked about. It's worth mentioning this number more than once, but over $2.3 million raised just by programs that TravelCenters of America has put in place to support St. Christopher Fund. That's an awful lot of drivers that have been helped just by TravelCenters of America efforts. And so we're greatly appreciative for their support and their partnership over the years. And we're thrilled to continue that this year with a new program. And we hope that this relationship continues just indefinitely.
Well, Shannon, let's take a listen to our conversation with Patty DelMonico from TravelCenters of America.
We're excited to welcome Patty DelMonico, Senior Manager, Commercial Marketing with TravelCenters of America, to the Highway to Hope podcast today. Patty, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I'm excited to have you on. How are things going?
Everything is going pretty well. How are you guys doing?
We're doing pretty good, just going with the flow and operating still under the COVID pandemic guidelines. Needless to say, we're on Zoom audio and happy to have you here today. We wanted to talk a little bit today and share with our audience about Travel Centers of America overall and your involvement with St. Christopher Fund. You all have been involved with St. Christopher Fund, almost since the beginning. At least 10 years now. You all were the first fuel stop to support St. Christopher Fund's mission to support professional drivers when illness or injury strikes and takes them off the road. And you've been our largest fuel stop supporter ever since. Tell our audience, why is it important for Travel Centers of America to join SCF's mission, and what's kept you looking for new ways to support St. Christopher Fund through the years?
St. Christopher Fund has done such good work since your launch in 2007, and you've helped over 3,000 professional drivers. TA is committed to giving back to millions of professional drivers who call us their home away from home. So aligning with St. Christopher Fund just made sense. Also, I know that we've hosted a few of your health events at our sites as well. We want our drivers to be healthy and learn more about health, and so we want to work with you on that mission as well.
It's been a great relationship because I remember back at the shows when we first started having a presence at the large truck shows. We were a part of the TA Petro booth. You all had your big booth and you let us have a space over there. And that really gave us an opportunity to have face-to-face time with drivers and face-to-face time with new corporate sponsors. You really gave us that first opportunity at those shows, and we're so appreciative of that. As we've grown, the shows have been generous to us and let us have our own space now, but we would not be where we are had we not had that opportunity with TA Petro.
Well, I'm glad that the big shows are giving you your own space. But if you ever did want to come back into our booth, you are more than welcome. We have the space for you. At the booth, actually, we do the spin the wheel at the big shows, and that generates a lot of interest and a lot of hooping and hollering within our booth. So.
And your team seems to have such a fun time doing it, too. I go over every year and thank the men and women that are there at the spin the wheel. They're just having a great time being there talking to them. And they're hollering at people to come in and ringing bells when they spin the wheel. And they just make it a lot of fun, and they make people want to be a part of what you're doing there.
Yes, they do bring a lot of people into the booth, which is great. I walked away from the booth one year. I think it was last year. 5 booths down, and I could hear them screaming and yelling. So they are definitely bringing some noise to St. Christopher.
Yes, they are, and we appreciate every bit of that. And it's always fun to see other people be as passionate about our mission as we are. And Travel Centers of America has been that way from the very beginning with us, and we sure do appreciate it. We know this year there's been a lot of changes because of this COVID-19 pandemic. Everybody, every year, looks forward to this Band Together program that you all have done for 10 years. And so I've had questions, and I've reached out to you and said, I've got people asking, people questioning, when are the bands going to be out? So they've been anticipating being able to support St. Christopher Fund through the Band Together program. But unfortunately, we had to make some changes this year because of the COVID guidelines and regulations. You introduced this new program called Be a Champion of Change. And I would love for you to share about what your thought process was to move to this kind of program and where you hope that this program will go.
We thought maybe it was time to change it up, so to speak, pun intended. So we came up with the Be a Champion of Change campaign. With COVID out there, we wanted to limit the physical transactions at the pay points. So selling somebody the band and all of that, we just kind of wanted to limit that. Also, with the change shortage out in the country, we figured this would be a good time to just make this program a roundup program. It's super simple. Customers shopping at the travel stores will have the option to round up their order to the nearest dollar. We're also doing this at our quick-serve restaurants and our full-serve restaurants. And 100% of the donated amount will go to St. Christopher Fund. Again, the point-of-sale campaign is just an easy way for the drivers, fellow drivers, customers, and our employees to help St. Christopher Fund. It's a win-win for everybody.
This would be an easy thing for me. One, if I had cash, I don't have to get change back. And two, if I use my card, just round it up to the nearest dollar, and adding that up in the checkbook's even easier. So that's fantastic. So this program launched on September 16th, correct?
Correct. And it's running through Monday, November 30th.
So all people have to do is when they go to check out, they're going to be asked, would you like to round up your change for the Be a Champion to Change program to support professional drivers in St. Christopher Fund? They say yes. If it's $1.57, they round it up to $2. It runs and off they go.
Yep, it's that simple.
It's that simple. You couldn't make it any easier for people to support other fellow drivers, the driving community, and St. Christopher Funds. That's awesome. I think this is an exciting time. Although we love Band Together, I love seeing all the bands from 10 years of bands. I think this is a great new program during a different time. It was just a time to do something new and something different. And I think this is a great way to do it. And it makes it really easy for everyone to participate. Now, are all of your locations participating?
No, our sites in Mississippi and South Carolina are not participating, but for the most part, the rest of the sites are.
Just that way, in case anybody's coming across Mississippi or South Carolina, if you're saying you pull in and you realize that they're not participating, we want to let everybody know that ahead of time. So stop in another state and you can participate on that end. We know TravelCenters of America has done so much for the driving community, for professional drivers. You have the Band Together program, but you all have done more to support drivers. You're at every show. You have offerings out in the parking lots at the shows. You're always making sure drivers have what they need. But you've also done all kinds of things. You do sales at your home offices. You've done golf tournaments. You've done all kinds of things to support St. Christopher Fund. And really, over 10 years of support, there's been over $2.3 million raised to support drivers. That's a lot of drivers that have been supported just by the efforts of TravelCenters of America.
Well, we're happy to help. Our home office does get involved in raffles. And again, in the golf outing, that's a big popular one, too. Yeah, from the site level all the way up to the corporate level, we are all involved in donations for St. Christopher Fund.
I think that's fantastic. And I tell you, I was on the road last year during Truck Driver Appreciation, and I got to visit 4 of the Travel Centers locations. Every single person that worked at those 4 locations that I came in contact with were so nice, so professional. I watched how they interacted with the drivers that came in. They know their names, they know their families, they ask how they're doing, make sure they have what they need, all the way out to the shop. I mean, I heard stories from the shop. You guys are such a great company. I heard a lot of testimonies about how thankful people are to work for TravelCenters of America, the opportunities that they have there. And that's from the manager to the shop, all the way down to the lady that was cleaning the shower stalls at one of the locations. And she was just so appreciative of the opportunity. She felt like she was appreciated. I just think overall, you guys are a leading company out there, not just in supporting the industry that you're in, but also in how you relate to and support your employees. And I thought that was pretty awesome to hear as an outsider.
Yes, our employees do enjoy working for the company. The company gives what they need to be successful and to be the home away from home for the drivers. It's a good company to work for.
You're listening to the PodWheels Network presentation of the Highway to Hope, the official podcast of the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. The St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund is a charity that helps over-the-road and regional truck drivers and their families when an illness or injury occurring within the last year has caused them to be out of work. SCF is also working to provide programs, including health and wellness initiatives, that are designed to benefit professional drivers and the trucking industry. If you are a professional truck driver or a family member of a driver who's in need of assistance following an illness or injury, please visit the organization's website at truckersfund.org. That's truckersfund.org. Over its history, the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund has raised more than $3 million through the generous support of donations by corporate sponsors, groups, and countless individuals who are part of the trucking community at large. As the country continues to deal with the COVID-19 national emergency, the need for assistance for professional drivers and their families has never been greater. SCF is continually working to grow its donor base, and you might be able to help in the effort to pay it forward through SCF. If you are interested in becoming a supporter of the work done by SCF, please visit truckersfund.org and click on the donate button. Visit truckersfund.org and consider making a donation today. Now let's go back to the Highway to Hope podcast on the PodWheels Network. Here's Shannon Currier, the Director of Philanthropy and Development for the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund, and Greg Thompson, the Executive Producer of the PodWheels Network.
Hello again, everybody, and thanks for making the SCF Highway to Hope podcast part of your day. I'm Greg Thompson from the PodWheels Network, joined once again by Shannon Currier, the Director of Philanthropy and Development for SCF and the host for the Highway to Hope. Our guest for this edition of the podcast is Patty DelMonico from TravelCenters of America. Patty, when you hear that your company has helped to raise $2.3 million in support of St. Christopher Fund, when you look back on that, how does that make you feel?
For me, I am very proud of everybody involved in this, in bringing in these donations. I do run the program for the company, but everybody is involved in it. And I'm just so happy to be part of an organization that takes a look at charity giving, align themselves with St. Christopher, and makes a difference in drivers' lives.
You and Shannon talk quite a bit about going to shows and all of those fun things, and that hasn't happened this year, obviously, with COVID-19. Can you talk about, from a corporate perspective, the challenges that TravelCenters of America has faced and how you've met those challenges in this year of 2020?
We're proud of our thousands of employees that continue to work hard every day on the front lines. I mean, they're the real heroes. They are out there working 24/7 at our site to help the drivers who are coming in. So we've made a number of changes at our sites due to the pandemic for obvious reasons. The health of our customers and employees, the general public, are our top priority. So we have put in a few safety measures to make sure everybody is safe out there. We have increased the cleaning and sanitizing routine for our common touch points at the sites, including the showers and the restrooms, the fuel dispensers, pumps. We are using best-in-class chemicals. We're also asking that our employees and anyone who comes into the site that they wear face coverings for obvious reasons. We want to keep everyone safe. We have hand sanitizer available for our employees as well as our customers. We are encouraging everyone to do the social distancing, so 6 feet away from each other. I know sometimes there's a lot of people in the store that can be challenging, but we're asking that everyone kind of maintain a distance from each other. We're also doing individually wrapped food products. The hot dogs and the pretzels, apples are being wrapped for safety. And then we ask everybody, just wash your hands. And if you don't feel well, stay home.
Has this experience and having implement the changes that you have and seeing what professional drivers do on a daily basis and knowing that you guys are a huge support system for professional drivers, has this given you guys even more appreciation for what professional drivers do on a daily basis?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when everything shut down in the spring, they were the ones who were getting us our stuff, who were bringing our stuff to us. They kept working. They kept driving. They didn't go home. So absolutely, they were the forefront. I was very happy personally, and I think TA was also happy as a company to see that the drivers were getting the acknowledgement that they've always deserved.
And when you think about what's happening with the pandemic and the response that's needed, when you look at how SCF has retooled what it is doing and how it's able to support people who are going through COVID, what does that mean to you as a sponsor supporting the organization?
Obviously, we're very proud to be working with SCF. When a driver needs help, especially during COVID, we want to be there to help them. We are very happy with what SCF is doing for all the drivers in need, especially now during this time.
I wanted to ask you too, you guys were talking earlier about spinning the wheel and raising money at shows and that. Looking back through all of the years, what has been the most fun in working with SCF?
I can tell you personally that the most fun I've had was at one of the trade shows years ago where everybody in the booth would take a turn running the spin the wheel. They turned it into a competition on who could bring in more money. And then it got to the point where somebody was going to raffle off the tablecloth because she swore she could get more money and bring more money in if she raffled off that tablecloth. They were going to raffle off anything. Anything they could raffle off, they were going to, because they all wanted to win, which I thought was pretty entertaining. So that was one of my favorite moments personally. Our site during our campaigns in the past have done site events, have done bake sales for St. Christopher, have really gotten into it. And they take this very seriously. And then they send in the pictures of what they have done, and they really enjoy doing that. So from a site level, they enjoy doing all of their different events around St. Christopher. Unfortunately, this year we cannot do that. Hopefully next year we can get back into doing different events, different things such as the bake sales. But right now we cannot do that.
I can attest to that because when I was out at the locations last year, they were very excited to show me their plaques on the wall where they had won the Band Together competition. They had sold the most bands at their location. They take a lot of pride in their support and their camaraderie and their family feel, and they feel good that they have worked hard to give back to those drivers. I could see that in every location that I went to. I just appreciate the Travel Center's leadership, and I also appreciate each and every person at your site locations, every manager, every assistant manager, every person in the shop, every person behind the desk, every person doing cleaning, maintenance. Everybody is so nice and generous, and they just want to do their very best at whatever job they have. And that was very clear to me. So I appreciate every one of the Travel Centers of America team. You all are amazing folks, and we're just proud to be partnered with you all for such a long time.
Yes, and we are happy to be your partner. And we get very excited. And you are right. The sites get very excited about these campaigns. And they are proud when they win, when they are the leader and they brought in the most donations for all of the sites across the country. They really love it. So you are correct.
They do, and they're so creative. They're doing bake sales. Some of them did dog washes, car washes. I remember sharing photos of those over the years. It's just fun to see what they come up with. They're always like, what can we do to be the one that gets a little extra above everybody else? So it's creativity, but it's also extra work for them. They're making it happen, and they're having fun with it. It's fun to see. So yeah, hopefully we'll get back to being able to have some of those fun events next year, and we'll get to highlight some of the locations that are jumping out there and having those extra fun events.
Maybe the sites can have a little bit of a competition for the Be a Champion of Change. Get people to round up those donations. So that'd be kind of cool too.
Yes, I am sure they will start asking where they fall amongst the rest of the company. They do that. They did that last year to me when we launched. They didn't even give me a week before they wanted to know where they fell in terms of donations with all the other sites. So I'm like, hey, can we get 7 days under our belt before I figure this out?
They want to know who took off like a bullet out of the gun, who took off running first. That's awesome, though. That just tells how excited they are about whatever program you have going on. I think that's fun to hear.
If you could, Patty, remind us, we're starting on September 16th, and how long does Champion of Change, how long does this promotion run?
It will run through Monday, November 30th.
Very good. So lots of time to get out there and round it up. I know that when I'm buying some things online, there are charities that are aligned with different organizations. They ask you to round up. Hey, I like round numbers, even if I'm buying digitally, right? And I'm like you guys, I don't like change. In fact, I keep change in one place and then take it down to the grocery store and let it run through a change machine so I can get some dollars. I like to get round numbers. I think everybody does. So think about this, folks. Rounding up, we're able to round up support for St. Christopher and support the great mission that SCF has going.
I love how you just said that. I don't think I could have said it better myself.
Patty, you're on our board as well. You know how donations come into us. We know that most of our donations come in $1 or $2 at a time. We've had some great support in large numbers just because of the COVID situation. But by and large, most of our donations come in small amounts like this. It is changes like this, change roundups like this, giving that extra dollar that really makes all the difference for St. Christopher Fund. It has from the beginning, and it still does today. Your little bit of change, everybody doing a little bit and putting a little bit in makes a huge difference in the long run.
Yes, we hope to have a lot of donations come in from this over the next 2.5 months. So drivers, if you're out there and you are at a TA or Petro location and you want to round up, just let them know at the point of sale.
Fantastic. So we appreciate you being on with us today, Patty. Just to close us out, what message would you like to share with drivers? We've had this, what I call a crazy Jumanji year. I think we're on level 8 now with the weather, so I'm a little concerned about what's coming next. But what message would you like to share with drivers as we close out this crazy year?
I would like to thank all the professional drivers who have been working throughout 2020. We are here for you. We exist because of the professional drivers, and we are truly grateful to serve you. So thank you for all of your hard work and bringing all of the items that are needed at grocery stores and at drugstores, and just basically keeping the country moving when it was 90% shut down at one point.
Agreed. Without these men and women behind the wheel, we would be sitting at home with nothing. We really would have no gas, no toilet paper, no food, no anything. Yes. Thank you for everything that you have done, you continue to do, and you've always done. And maybe we've just not been as appreciative as we should have been.
Yes, I'm happy that drivers are finally getting the acknowledgement they deserve.
I agree 100%. Patty, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for all that Travel Centers of America does to support professional drivers, to support St. Christopher Fund. We couldn't do what we do without you guys. We look forward to continuing our long-standing relationship.
Thank you.
That's Patty DelMonico from from the Travel Centers of America. We're back here with you on the SCF Highway to Hope podcast. Greg Thompson alongside SCF Highway to Hope podcast host Shannon Currier. And Shannon, once again, what Travel Centers of America and SCF are doing together, pretty amazing.
It is. It's an amazing partnership. The drivers on the road have been so supportive of the programs that we've done with Travel Centers of America. And we know this is a new program. It's something different than Band Together. Band Together was in place for 10 years and everybody loved it and it had such great support. But we know COVID-19 made things look so much different for all of us. And so it was just a time where we could develop a new program. They could come up with a new idea, really engage everyone out there on the road, and at the same time, keeping everybody safe. So we really hope everybody will get behind this new program as well and really just be a champion of change, be a part of this program, and continue to support your fellow drivers, continue to support St. Christopher Fund. We're just thankful for the new program and thankful for the continued support.
And Shannon, speaking of new programs that SCF has out there that drivers have embraced, let's talk a little bit about the recently completed health challenge. You guys had some incredible results with the Driven to Be Healthy Going the Distance Challenge.
We did. You know, we have two missions at St. Christopher Fund. One is the relief side, making sure drivers have the support they need when they have to come off the road because of injury or illness. But our second mission is health and wellness. We want a healthy driver population. We want to support the men and women behind the wheel, making sure we encourage healthy choices, more movement. We want them to be healthy behind the wheel, but we also want them to be healthy when they retire so they get to go home to their families and continue living a great life. Part of what we do, and we've done a health challenge before, but this one was a different kind of challenge. The Driven to Be Healthy Going the Distance Challenge, we saw Julie Dillon, who's our health and wellness manager, partnered with Hope Zavara from Mother Trucker Yoga. And this was really a participation challenge. We wanted you to start at day one and complete the whole 30 days. And if you did that, we were going to reward you at the end. So it wasn't how much weight was lost or how many inches were lost or how much you exercised. It was really, did you make the effort and try for the full 30 days? So we started out with 85 people that registered for the challenge, which we were thrilled with. But we know not everyone who joins the challenge is really ready to make the commitment. I'll raise my hand over here. I joined the challenge as well, and I did not make the commitment. I did not finish the full 30 days. If you're one of those people, I was one of those people too. But you know what? We can keep going from where we are. And that's what's so awesome about Julie and Hope. They continue to meet us where we are and help us take the next step to continue going the distance and continue making those good choices. So we had 47 people that completed the entire challenge. They were committed all the way through the end. And we saw great response. If you did not join the Facebook group, there was a Facebook group for this challenge as well. Go and take a look at the Facebook group. There are before and after pictures. There are testimonies. There are people that talk about what they did, what worked, what didn't work, their challenges. There's so much encouragement there. And just seeing where people were when they started, where people were at the end of 30 days, there are some major changes in there. And that's exciting to see. And this is why Julie, on the health and wellness side, this is why we do what we do. This is why health and wellness is her passion. So we had great turnout. We are going to do this again. We don't know the exact date when our next one is going to launch, but connect with us on Facebook and keep an eye out because we are going to do this again. We're going to continue to encourage the men and women out there, and we're going to walk alongside you, and I'm going to keep going myself. So thank you for everyone that participated. And thank you to the amazing sponsors that helped us make this happen. Road Pro Family of Brands, Travel Centers of America, and then, of course, Mother Trucker Yoga. We didn't have these awesome sponsors that wanted to step in and be a part of this and just offer some incentives along the way. What a great little blessing that is, just some tangible encouragement along the way. So thank you to our sponsors for being a part of this too. It was an awesome challenge.
When you look back at this, and I remember the podcast recordings that we did, a lot of enthusiasm, there was a lot of optimism about what this might be able to do. And it sounds like Again, you spoke to it. One of your missions at SCF is to promote better health out there on the road for professional drivers and their families. When you look at what this has done, it sounds like it really exceeded the expectations, and it has started, I don't want to say a new movement, but it's really energized that part of the mission of SCF.
It really has. And health and wellness is not a new movement in the industry by any means. There's been a focus on health and wellness for a long time, and we've done a couple of different things throughout the years as well. But this challenge, just being in its nature different than anything that's been done before, I think that's what was so appealing to everybody that participated. It's good to have goals. You want to lose X amount of pounds. You want to move this amount, exercise this amount of times a day and this many minutes a day, and you want to be this size or whatever. But really, it's not even about that, because it's so easy to reach whatever goal we've set and then say, okay, I've reached that goal and now I'm not going to keep going. This challenge was really a long-term challenge, making changes that are small, and sometimes you keep them and sometimes you backslide, but you can start all over again. So this was encouragement that says you can do this. You can do it one day at a time. And one day you might do great. The next day you might not. But the next day you got to jump back on board. And so this is long-term support, long-term ideas, long-term plans that I think are really going to help us be healthier people. And so that's what this was about. That's Julie's passion, and that's Hope's passion with Mother Trucker Yoga. She was a great person to partner with. Hope has such great knowledge in this area, specifically about movement. Drivers are very sedentary just by nature. And so there's so many things that can be done in the cab of the truck where you're comfortable doing it. You're not out in the parking lot with people looking at you like you're crazy. And that's okay to do that too. But some of us, we have to get comfortable enough to get to that point. And that's what's awesome about Hope. She gives things that can be done in the cab where you're comfortable doing it and that are going to help these drivers day in and day out. So we just appreciate everybody's partnership. We appreciate everybody that participated. And we hope that you're as excited about it as we are. And we hope that you're looking forward to the next challenge like we are.
Shannon, a couple of follow-up questions on this, because you mentioned the Facebook group earlier. Can you still join it? And if you can, is this something that Julie and the team there at SCF is monitoring in terms of giving you feedback, encouragement, and all of that?
Yes, absolutely. The Facebook group is called Driven to Be Healthy, Going the Distance. It is a private group, so you do have to ask to join the group, but anybody can find the group. Anybody can ask to join the group. Yes, it's still active. Hope and Julie are still monitoring. Everybody's still posting things. So there's still a lot going on in that group, and we want to keep that group going. We want to keep the engagement strong there, because we want people that may not have been able to participate in this challenge to be ready to participate in the next ones. So we want to keep that communication going. So go join the group.
I've got one other question for you on health and wellness, because I know this is also another passion of Julie's. Rigs Without SIGs. Can you talk to us about that for a moment?
Yes, so our Rigs Without SIGs program, it's been going on for about 3 years, and we're seeing great success with that. Smoking exacerbates so many other health problems. We know it's a difficult addiction to break. We know some people can put it down and walk away from it. Other people, it takes a very long time to break that habit. But if you are ready, we have the Rigs Without SIGs smoking cessation program. You can find that program on our website at truckersfund.org. Click on health and wellness, and it'll take you to one of the drop-down options there is Rigs Without SIGs. And it will take you to that program if you would like to participate in that. We have different things available for that program, different types of tools. One is quitting cold turkey and just literally walking away from it. There's a book that you can purchase to help you quit smoking. And then we also have what a lot of people are using is called a quit key. And so what that does is it's a tapering off type thing. It can go into your keychain. It's fairly small, a couple of inches. It's like a little computer. So you spend your first week clicking it every time you smoke. And some people smoke a pack a day, 2 packs a day. So you're clicking it a lot. So it's going to take that first week and it's going to register how many times you smoke a day for a week. Then what it's going to do the next week is it's going to start your program. So you're going to click it when you smoke, and then you can't smoke again until it beeps to let you know you can smoke. Each day, that wait period in between cigarettes is going to get a little longer and a little longer and a little longer until you eventually taper off. It's really been an effective tool for people to use to be tobacco free. One, it's going to change how you feel. It's going to change your health altogether. It's going to save you a whole lot of money not to be a smoker. So if you're ready, and we know, again, not everyone is ready, and we know it's difficult, but we're here to walk with you every step of the way, just like on the health challenge. If you go through the program the first time and you quit, that's fantastic. If you fall off the wagon and have to start again, we're going to be here with you for that too. We want you to be a part of that program too if you're ready to take that step. It's been a very successful program. We have a company or two that has reached out to us wanting to use the program for their drivers and give their own encouragement as a company. We're excited about where the program is going. If you're ready, we're here and ready to help you.
Wow, that's great. I had not heard about that quit key before. That seems like a pretty cool piece of technology. One of those things that, again, you have your regular week, you do what you do, and then you get on the program and it works with you and tells you. And you mentioned it. One of the things about quitting smoking, and I've done a lot of research about this, is the fact that if you're able to quit for a few hours, if you're able to quit for a day, all of the things that happen that are positive for your body with your lungs. And again, as you mentioned it, smoking, it's a huge expense.
It is. It's a huge expense. And if you go to our website, again, truckersfund.org, click on health and wellness and go down to Rigs Without Cigs. We have a smoking calculator on there. So you can plug in how many cigarettes you smoke a day, what your pack size is, what a pack costs you. It's going to tell you how many packs you smoked in a year, how much money you've spent in a year just on cigarettes. So then it's going to also tell you if you don't smoke for 10 years, this is how much money you're going to save. On this program, we also have follow-up. We're going to send you, hey, when you quit smoking for a day, here's what that does to your body. When you quit smoking for a week, here's what that does to your body. We're going to give you those kind of statistics so you can look forward to breathing better. You can look forward to tasting things better. You can look forward to smelling things better. There's a lot of things that you don't really think about when it comes to smoking, but when you quit, there's all these other senses that really come into play, and it really makes a difference. People don't always recognize that that's how it works, but that is how it works. So there's a lot of positives to quitting, your health being the main positive. So you're around for your family and your kids and your grandkids. But also, hey, start putting that money that you've been spending on cigarettes, put it in a savings account. At the end of the year, take you a trip somewhere, buy you that boat that you've been wanting, or buy you a new car, or get some chrome for your truck. These things that you want to do and maybe just don't want to spend the money on, use your cigarette money for that and reward yourself at the end of the year.
Yeah, what a plan. If you're ready, you're able to improve your health, and in a sense, you're able to give yourself a raise with that money. You're able to do whatever you want with it.
That's right. May as well do something fun with it. Smoking's not easy to quit. You deserve a reward if you are able to quit. You deserve to be rewarded for that. So put that money in a savings account and do something fun with it. Take your kids on a trip. Take your wife on a trip. Do something fun with it.
Well, Shannon, let's talk a little bit about our next podcast, because you have been working with an individual, and we're going to hear what I believe is going to be an amazing and very moving story. I can't wait to connect with Howard and hear his story. It's one that you guys have shared a little bit on social media, but it's one that I think is going to be very powerful and very meaningful.
Absolutely. So people always want to know driver testimonies. Does St. Christopher Fund help real people? Yes, we help real everyday people. And so we want to share as many testimonies as we're allowed to share. And of course, we don't share anything without anyone's permission. So if you see a photo shared from us, or a family photo, or a quote, or a name shared from us, we've gotten permission to do that. And in conjunction with this Be a Champion of Change program with Travel Centers of America, we had a gentleman who was a driver. His name is Howard Salmon, and he wanted to help with this program. He really wanted to be the face of this program. So the reason he came off the road is because he has a son, a 5-year-old son, who has cancer. As of right now, there's hopes and prayers for miracles, but as of right now, it has been deemed a terminal cancer. His name is Liam. and you're going to see Howard and Liam at the Travel Centers of America stores. They wanted to be a part of this program and encourage people to donate to drivers, because we help when drivers have to come off the road, but we've also been able to help when family members have needed these drivers at home and you've absolutely been forced to come off the road to be with your family member. So, of course, Howard wants to be with Liam through this process, and he's going through some experimental treatments. He's got a lot going on, this little boy. He wanted to share his story. So you're going to see his face in the T.O. Petro locations on posters. You'll see it shared on social media. But we wanted to give him an opportunity, and maybe even Liam an opportunity if he's up for it, to share their full story, what's going on with them, and why they wanted to be a part of a fundraising campaign for St. Christopher Fund. So we are so looking forward to talking with Howard and hopefully Liam, just sharing their story and hearing what it means to them to have the support that they were able to receive from St. Christopher, and why they feel like everybody should be giving back.
Again, I can't wait to connect with Howard and have that conversation. And before we go, can you remind folks all the places where they can reach out and find out about SCF?
So you can go to our website at truckersfund.org. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and LinkedIn and TikTok. Gosh, you can find us everywhere. You can obviously hear our podcasts. We post them on our website. They're on the PodWheels Network website. Some of our podcasts are shared on thetrucker.com. And then, of course, we're on all of your podcast platforms, whatever one is your favorite to choose. You're going to find us in all of those places as well. So we're out there wherever is convenient for you to find us. Just look up St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund or Highway to Hope podcast, and you'll find us out there. We've got some great interviews that we've done over this past year. If you haven't listened to any of them, go back and listen. There's some great people that we've talked to, and we have a lot more to come still for the rest of this year as well.
Well, and you mentioned something right at the end here. I want to take a moment and thank everyone who has taken the time to listen to our podcast. Thanks to our listeners, we are building an audience. The numbers are starting to build. We are approaching 10,000 downloads on all these various platforms. When we started this at the beginning of the year, we had high hopes for this. Of course, it's the Highway to Hope podcast, but we really didn't know how it was going to be received, and so we feel like we're building some momentum with the platform.
Absolutely. And so, Greg, when you reached out to us about doing this podcast, it had kind of been on my mind for a while, and it was, where do we start? How do we make it happen? I've talked with you for the last several years. We've actually been in touch and we've done different interviews. It's funny that you reached out to me at the time that you did, because it was on my mind. It's just things happen at the right time. So we came together. This has been a great new platform. We appreciate your support, everything you're doing to make this podcast happen. This would not be happening without you. And we appreciate every single listener. I mean, I never would have dreamed in the short few months we've been doing this that we would be at almost 10,000 downloads. I mean, who would have thought? I'm excited that this is a new platform for us. I'm excited that people are interested in hearing what we have to talk about. And we're always open to, there's tons of people we can talk to. But if there's somebody you would like to hear from or a topic you would like to hear us discuss on our podcast, we're always open for feedback on that as well. You can always shoot me an email at shannon@truckersfund.org. Let me know if there's something you're interested in hearing from us, and we can add that to our list of podcast topics.
Absolutely. And looking forward to sharing more stories out there. I got to say, you've done an amazing job of finding really interesting folks, some of the best conversations that I've had this year, and I have a lot of them. Some of the best ones we've had this year on the PodWheels Network have happened through the SCF Highway to Hope podcast.
Well, you know, there's so many interesting people to talk to in this industry. That's what's so cool. There's still so much to learn. I mean, there's so many aspects of the industry that there's so much to learn. I'm always interested in learning new things. I'm always interested in soaking up new information. I want to be more knowledgeable about the industry. I'm always excited to talk to people about what they have going on and what that means for the industry, how they're affected by the industry, how they're affecting the industry. I'm just excited to talk to anybody and everybody, because I feel like there's always something new to learn. There's always something new to share. And we're encouraged by hearing other people's stories. It's been a great thing for me. I've been thrilled. I look forward to doing these interviews and these podcasts every single month.
I do too. And folks, we are looking forward to connecting with you on the next podcast and sharing what I know is going to be a very special and very meaningful story. And Shannon, we mentioned it at the top. This is Driver Appreciation Month. We're recording it here at the end of the official National Truck Driver Appreciation Week. I want to give you one more opportunity to express your thoughts about driver appreciation.
Driver appreciation, I know there's a week that goes with that, and for some of us a month that goes with that, but we want drivers to know we appreciate what you do every single day, whether it's in a pandemic or not in a pandemic. We know how valuable you are, how essential you are. We know we wouldn't have anything that we have without you all working 24/7, 365 out there on the road. And really just let me give a woo, clap, 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 clap for everything that you all do for us. We know how important you are. We know how special you are. We appreciate you more than we could ever express. We have missed seeing your faces this year since we didn't have the shows, and we are so looking forward to seeing you at next year's shows.
Once again, thank you for listening to Highway to Hope on the PodWheels Network. The Highway to Hope is the official podcast of the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. If you would like to learn more about SCF or would like to make a donation to SCF, please visit the organization's website at truckersfund.org. That's truckersfund.org. We'll have more new episodes of The Highway to Hope coming your way in the near future. The PodWheels Network is proud to produce the Highway to Hope podcast in collaboration with the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. We'd like to hear from you, our listeners. Please send your questions, your comments, and your ideas for what you'd like to hear on the podcast to the following email address: info@podwheelsnetwork.com. That's info@podwheelsnetwork.com. The PodWheels Network would like to thank you for connecting with us today. You can stay up to date on the latest from the PodWheels Network by downloading the PodWheels app. It's available in the Apple Store and on Google Play. Just search PodWheels in either store and download the app. As we close out this edition of the Highway to Hope podcast, the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund and the PodWheels Network send our best for your continued safe travels on our nation's highways. And especially these days, as we face the COVID-19 global pandemic, remember, taking good care of your health is one of the key components to staying safe on the road and staying safe at home. So with every mile you drive and during your time at home, let's stay safe and healthy out there.